Have you ever stopped to wonder why that cat appeared in your life at the exact moment you needed it most? Maybe you were going through a tough time, feeling lost, battling an illness, and out of nowhere, a cat just decided you were its chosen person. It wasn't a coincidence. And what if I told you there's an explanation that will completely change the way you see these mysterious felines? Get ready, because what you're about to discover will shake your beliefs about the spiritual world that surrounds us. Edgar Cayce. Maybe you've never heard that name, but you should have. Known worldwide as the Sleeping Prophet, this extraordinary man gave over 14,000 documented psychic readings during his lifetime. Doctors, scientists, and researchers from all over the world still study his records today because they just work. Cayce had the unique ability to go into a trance and access information that defied the logic of his time. He predicted the 1929 stock market crash, located oil where geologists said it was impossible, and healed thousands of people with diagnoses that medicine would only confirm decades later. But of all the impressive revelations Cayce brought to the world, there's one that will leave you speechless when it comes to our feline companions. In one of his most famous readings, Edgar Cayce made a statement that shocked even his most faithful followers. He said, and I quote him literally, "Among all domestic animals, cats possess the greatest ability to perceive and navigate between spiritual dimensions. They not only see what you call the invisible, they actively choose the souls who need healing." Pause for a moment and let that sink in. While conventional science treats cats as simple domesticated predators, Cayce was revealing that these beings are, in fact, highly evolved spiritual guardians. They don't come into your life by chance. They are sent. But sent by whom? And why you exactly? If this is messing with your mind as much as it messed with mine when I found out, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel because there are many more shocking revelations to come. And comment down below. Have you ever had a cat that just appeared out of nowhere in your life? Tell your story. Cayce's revelation might seem impossible to believe, but here's something that will make you rethink everything. Completely separate and independent, civilizations throughout history reached the exact same conclusion. In ancient Egypt, cats were considered sacred beings, capable of traveling between the world of the living and the dead. The goddess Bastet, with the head of a cat, was literally the protector of souls in transition. The Egyptians mummified cats with more care than many pharaohs because they believed they guided lost spirits back home. In medieval Japan, the Maneki Neko wasn't just a good luck charm. It was based on the real belief that specific cats chose merchants and families who needed spiritual protection. And the ancient Celts, they had a specific word, cat-seath, special cats that served as messengers between the worlds, 3 cultures, 3 continents, thousands of years of separation. All reached the same conclusion about the spiritual power of felines. That's not a coincidence, it's evidence. Now comes the part that will really mess with your perception of reality. According to Edgar Cayce, when a cat chooses you, it's not a random decision, it's a moment of deep recognition. Cayce explained in his readings that our souls make agreements even before we incarnate on this physical plane. He called these soul contracts, promises made in higher dimensions to help each other on our earthly journey. Imagine for a moment, you're walking down the street, thinking about your problems, when a cat approaches and just picks you. It's not hunger, it's not looking for shelter, it's something in its eyes, a recognition you can't explain. Cayce would say that in that moment, 2 souls are reuniting after lifetimes of separation. In a specific reading from 1936, Cayce saw a woman named Margaret who was devastated by the loss of her husband. She reported that, 3 days after the funeral, a black cat appeared at her door and refused to leave. Cayce revealed something extraordinary. That cat had been the couple's pet in a past life in ancient Egypt, and it had returned specifically to help Margaret process her grief and find peace. And here's the most impressive part. Cayce described how cats maintain an akashic memory, the ability to access records of past lives. They recognize not just who you are now, but who you've been. They see your unhealed traumas, your emotional wounds carried from other incarnations, and feel a spiritual responsibility to help. Have you ever had that strange feeling when you met a cat for the first time, as if you already knew it, as if there was an instant familiarity that defied logic? Cayce explained that this happens because you have met before. Somewhere, sometime, you made a pact. Now, before you think we're just diving into the realm of the mystical, get ready to discover how modern science is validating Edgar Cayce's intuitions in absolutely stunning ways. Since 2001, researchers around the world began to document something that left the scientific community baffled: the therapeutic ability of a cat's purr. And I'm not talking about a psychological placebo effect. I'm talking about measurable physical changes in the human body. Dr. Clinton Rubin from Stony Brook University discovered that the vibrations from a cat's purr operate at a specific frequency between 25 and 150 hertz. And you know what else operates in that same frequency range? Medical ultrasound equipment used to speed up the healing of bone fractures, reduce inflammation, and promote cell regeneration. But wait, it gets even more impressive. A study published in the Journal of Nervous and Mental Disease in 2008 showed that people exposed to a cat's purr for just 20 minutes a day had a 40% reduction in cortisol levels, the stress hormone. Their heart rate slowed, blood pressure dropped, and markers of inflammation in their blood fell drastically. Dr. Elizabeth von Muggenthaler, a specialist in bioacoustics, went even further. She discovered that different types of purrs have specific frequencies for different types of healing. Low purrs between 25 to 30 hertz stimulate bone growth. Medium frequencies, 40 to 50 hertz, reduce pain and inflammation. And higher frequencies, near 100 hertz, improve circulation and accelerate tissue healing. Now connect that with what Edgar Cayce revealed decades before any of these studies existed. Cats not only feel energetic imbalances in the human body, they instinctively know which vibrational frequency to apply to restore harmony. In 2019, researchers at the University of Vienna documented something even more extraordinary. They found that cats can detect biochemical changes in the human body up to 48 hours before symptoms manifest. We're talking about the early detection of infections, heart problems, even depressive episodes. How is this possible? The answer lies in what Cayce called dimensional perception. While we humans primarily gather information through our 5 basic senses, cats operate with an expanded sensory range that includes electromagnetic fields, subtle energy variations, and even what quantum physics now recognizes as information entanglement. But if you still have doubts about the extraordinary abilities of felines, let me tell you the story that forever changed how hospitals and nursing homes around the world see these animals. Oscar is a cat who lives at the Steerhouse Nursing and Rehabilitation Center in Rhode Island, USA. Since 2005, Oscar developed a behavior that left doctors, nurses, and families completely perplexed. He has the supernatural ability to predict the death of patients with almost 100% accuracy. Here's how it works. Oscar wanders the halls of the rehabilitation center like any normal cat. But when someone is in their final hours of life, he does something extraordinary. He goes directly to the person's room, jumps on the bed, curls up next to the patient, and refuses to leave. Without exception, the person dies within 2 to 6 hours. Dr. David Dosa, the geriatrician in charge of the unit, was initially skeptical. He thought it was a coincidence. But after documenting more than 100 consecutive cases where Oscar predicted death with absolute accuracy, the medical community was forced to acknowledge they were facing something inexplicable. The most striking case happened in 2009. A patient named Mary was being monitored 24/7 because doctors believed she had only a few hours to live. Oscar, however, refused to enter her room. Instead, he went to the room next door and lay down with another patient who seemed to be fine. The doctors were confused. 4 hours later, the patient Oscar had chosen had a sudden cardiac arrest and died. Mary survived for 2 more days. But Oscar isn't alone. In 2012, researchers documented cases of domestic cats that can detect specific cancers through smell. Luna, a Siamese cat in Toronto, started obsessively lying on her owner's left breast. After weeks of this persistent behavior, the woman decided to get a checkup. The result, early-stage breast cancer, exactly where Luna had insisted on lying. Another impressive case. Max, a cat in London, began to compulsively scratch a specific mole on his owner's back. The man ignored it for months until the cat's persistence convinced him to see a dermatologist. The mole was a developing malignant melanoma. Edgar Cayce explained these phenomena through the concept of auric reading. According to him, cats can perceive changes in the human energy field that precede physical manifestations of disease. They literally read our vital energy and detect when something is out of balance, often before our own bodies show symptoms. In his words, felines possess the natural ability to perceive when a soul's life force is preparing for transition. They serve as bridges between this world and the next, offering comfort to both those who are departing and those who remain. The most touching part of Oscar's story is that his presence brings an inexplicable peace to patients in their final moments. Family members report that people who were agitated or in pain calm down completely when Oscar arrives. It's as if he brings an energy of acceptance and serenity that eases the passage. Today, Oscar is officially recognized by the medical staff as part of the center's palliative care. When he chooses a room, the nurses know it's time to call the family. He has become a more accurate indicator than many sophisticated medical devices. And this leads us to a disturbing question. If cats can predict death with such accuracy, what else do they know about our destiny that we can't perceive? Now let's dive into the question that's been hammering in your head since the beginning of this video. Why exactly now? Why did that specific cat appear in your life at that exact moment? Edgar Cayce had a fascinating explanation that will connect all the dots in a way that will give you goosebumps. According to Cayce's readings, there are specific energetic windows in our existence, moments when our soul is more receptive to spiritual interventions. He called these periods of karmic transition. And it's precisely in these moments that cats are activated to find you. Think about your own experience. Did the cat show up when you were going through a breakup, a job change, a death in the family, an existential crisis? It's no coincidence. Cayce explained that our aura, our energy field, undergoes dramatic changes during these transitions. And cats, being naturally attuned to energetic frequencies, are literally drawn to these auric storms like magnets. But here's the most impressive part. They don't just come to watch. They come equipped with a specific mission based on what your soul needs to learn or heal in this life. In a 1943 reading, Cayce saw a man named Robert who was struggling with alcoholism. 3 weeks after a particularly devastating relapse, an orange cat appeared on his porch and refused to leave. Cayce revealed that this specific cat had incarnated with the unique purpose of teaching Robert about responsibility and unconditional love, exactly the lessons he needed to overcome his addiction. What's fascinating is that Cayce described how cats possess something he called a memory of purpose. They maintain a clear awareness of the mission they came to fulfill, while we humans often forget our greater purpose upon incarnating. I'll give you another example that will mess with your perception. Sarah, a 34-year-old woman from Detroit, was going through a severe depression after losing her job and getting divorced in the same month. She had reached the point of contemplating suicide. On the darkest night of her life, when she was truly considering ending it all, a black cat appeared, meowing at her 8th-floor apartment window. Impossible for it to have gotten there on its own. Sarah decided to let the cat in, and something extraordinary happened. For the first time in months, she felt responsible for another life. She needed to buy food, water, to care for someone other than herself. That cat, which she named Phoenix, literally saved her from suicide by giving her an immediate purpose. When Sarah sought out Edgar Cayce a few years later, he revealed that Phoenix was an ancient soul who had made a specific pact to intervene in moments of absolute despair. The cat had incarnated specifically for that moment, for that person, for that specific crisis. But the timing isn't just limited to personal crises. Cayce spoke of something even deeper, evolutionary cycles of the soul. There are moments in our spiritual journey where we are ready to take quantum leaps in consciousness and evolution, and cats are sent as catalysts for these leaps. Think about it. How many people do you know who completely changed their lives after a cat showed up? They became more compassionate, more intuitive, more connected to the spiritual aspects of existence. That's no accident. Rupert Sheldrake, a biologist from Cambridge, documented in his studies on morphic fields that animals can detect patterns of change in complex systems long before humans notice. Cats, according to Cayce, operate as dimensional change detectors. They sense when you are on the threshold of a major transformation and appear to facilitate that transition. The timing is also connected to something Cayce called karmic synchronicity. Our soul schedules specific encounters even before we are born, and cats, being multi-dimensional beings, maintain access to this cosmic agenda. Get ready, because what I'm about to reveal now will completely transform the way you interpret every purr, every glance, every moment of affection you share with felines. The truth is much deeper and more powerful than any display of affection you can imagine. According to Edgar Cayce, what we interpret as feline love is in fact something infinitely more significant, an active process of energetic healing and the transmutation of trauma. Cayce explained that cats operate as karmic transmuters. They literally absorb negative energies, unprocessed traumas, and emotional blockages from their humans, process these energies through their own advanced energetic systems, and release them, transmuted. I'll explain how this works in practice. Have you ever noticed how cats seem to instinctively know when you're sad, anxious, or sick? They don't just come closer, they position themselves on specific points of your body. It's not a search for warmth, it's energetic mapping. In one of his most detailed readings on this subject, Cayce described the process. When a feline lies on a human's solar plexus, heart chakra, or throat, it is performing what you would call energetic surgery. They identify blockages, crystallized traumas, and patterns of stagnant energy and use their own vibrational frequencies to dissolve these obstructions. The purr, which we already know scientifically operates at therapeutic frequencies, is actually a sonic scalpel that cuts through layers of accumulated emotional pain. Cayce said that cats can literally see where energy is blocked in the human body and apply the specific frequencies needed to release these blockages. But here's the part that will deeply mess with your perception. According to Cayce, this healing process doesn't just benefit you. The cats are fulfilling their own spiritual evolution through this service. They advance on their soul's journey by helping to heal human traumas. It's a perfect spiritual symbiosis. I'll tell you a case that illustrates this perfectly. Margaret Hamilton, a survivor of child abuse, sought out Cayce in 1938 because she had been suffering from terrible nightmares and panic attacks for over 20 years. A few days after her consultation, a gray cat appeared on her property and began to sleep on her bed every night, positioned exactly on her chest. Cayce revealed that this cat was extracting traumatic memories crystallized in Margaret's heart chakra. Each night while she slept, the cat processed pieces of trauma, dissolving layers of pain she had carried for decades. In 6 months, the nightmares disappeared completely. What's most extraordinary is that Cayce described how cats develop a kind of healing library through these experiences. They accumulate knowledge about different types of human trauma and become specialists in specific types of energetic healing. Some cats specialize in healing grief and loss. Others focus on anxiety and fear. There are those who are experts in dissolving anger and resentment. And there are cats that work specifically with past life traumas, memories we carry unconsciously from other incarnations. This explains why certain cats are drawn to specific people while completely ignoring others. They aren't being picky because of their personality. They are being guided by therapeutic compatibility. Dr. Temple Grandin, an expert in animal behavior, has documented cases where cats demonstrate diagnostic capabilities that surpass modern medical equipment. But what science still doesn't understand is that this ability isn't just diagnostic, it's therapeutic. Cayce revealed that when a cat needs you with its paws, it's not just showing affection, it's performing energetic acupressure, stimulating specific points to release tension and restore energy flow. When it rubs against you, it's rebalancing misaligned electromagnetic fields. When it stares into your eyes, it's performing what Cayce called auric synchronization, aligning your energetic frequency with its own to facilitate the healing process. Now we reach the end of this extraordinary journey, but In reality, this is just the beginning of your new understanding of the mystical relationship between felines and humans. After everything I've shared with you today, one question echoes. What is the story of the cat that appeared in your life? Think for a moment. Remember that feline that came to you in an inexplicable way. Maybe it appeared when you were going through the hardest phase of your life, or maybe it showed up when you didn't even know you needed healing. Now you understand that it wasn't a coincidence. It was spiritual intervention. I want you to do something with me now. Close your eyes for a few seconds and reconnect with the memory of that first encounter. Feel that strange sense of familiarity again, that instant recognition that defied logic. Now you know what was really happening in that sacred moment of reunion between two souls. But this leads me to even deeper questions that I need you to reflect on and share with me in the comments. What trauma or emotional wound did that specific cat come to heal in your life? What transformation do you notice in yourself since it arrived? How have you changed, evolved, grown spiritually since that encounter? And for those who have never had the experience of a cat choosing you, I leave an equally important question. What kind of healing or learning do you think your souls need right now? Because Edgar Cayce always said that when we are ready to receive help, the universe conspires to send it. In the comments below, I want you to share your personal story. Describe what the day was like when your cat chose you. Tell us what moment of your life it was, what challenges you were facing, and most importantly, what changes you've noticed in yourself since then. If you've never had a cat, but something in this video resonated deeply with you, share that too. Sometimes, recognizing spiritual patterns and connections is the first step to attracting these transformative experiences into our lives. And if you know someone who had an inexplicable experience with a cat appearing out of nowhere in their life, share this video. Because now they will understand that they experienced something much more profound than a simple coincidence. They experienced a spiritual miracle disguised as a casual encounter. Remember, in a universe governed by synchronicities and invisible connections, nothing is truly random, especially when it comes to the ancient and mysterious wisdom of felines. Subscribe to the channel and hit that like button to get access to more stories like this. Your story can inspire and heal other people. Your experience might be exactly what someone needs to hear today, to understand that they are not alone on this complex and beautiful spiritual journey we call life.